Welcome to Penny Press. So today I am in Decatur, Lawrence County, Ohio. It is out in the country, maybe 15 miles from the town of Ironton. But this is the highest point in Lawrence County, and it's in Dean State Forest, or right outside Dean State Forest as you're going down this gravel road. It's we probably came 2.5 miles out this road. But this is an abandoned cemetery out here in the middle of the woods. And I want to thank my friend Kathy who told me about it. She just happened upon it one day while out cruising around, and she remembered it and thought I should check it out. The old graves here. This is just amazing. Found this one. It's the grave of Catherine Kelly, consort of Thomas, and she died March the 13th, 1850. And it says aged 59 years. This is an old cemetery. So I'm just going to walk around and see what I can find here. There's an old headstone right here. I don't think there's anything on it. I don't know how far back in there this goes, but I'm about to find out. There's another stone. Nothing wrote on it. You can't read it. And as you can tell, it's definitely pretty much abandoned. There's a stone here. I decided to come out here today, and I'm glad I did. Really old cemetery. Here's another stone. And on this side of me, there's two more. There's one there, actually three. But I don't know what that one, I think this is the headstone. There's just nothing wrote on them. They're just rocks used for headstones. Maybe at one time they had something carved on them. But I would say that they're made out of sandstone, and the weather over the years has just wore them off. I don't know what cemetery this would be, but it's definitely one that has been forgotten about. Just in maybe a small family cemetery. There's a headstone right here. Some beer cans. Obviously somebody's been out here having them a good time in the cemetery. Really, I mean, you can't even tell it's a cemetery unless you're looking for it. Like, there's a stone right here, right next to this tree. And once again, it's just a rock that has nothing on it. There's another one right here. One right there. There's a spot right here that dips in, so it's a unmarked grave. Right here I can tell that there's a dip, and there's some dips around here, so if you was to, I'm not going to step on any of that, because there's a good chance that these old graves you could fall down in there. It's a really pretty spot up here. Just back in the woods. There's another headstone over here, right next to this tree. The trees are huge. Like these trees have been here for hundreds of years probably. Maybe if I find Catherine Kelly, then I could figure out who might be buried here, because it would be a family graveyard, I would say. So I'm definitely going to be looking her up. See, there's more graves here. I don't know if you can tell or not, or see the dips. There's some dips out through there that don't even have a headstone. So I have to be real careful where I'm stepping at. There's one right there, and right beside of it, and there's no headstone. There's quite a few people buried here, and just the graves aren't marked. It just looks, if you're looking, it just looks like a little spot in the woods. And without these headstones, you wouldn't even know that there were graves here. So this is really, really old cemetery. And it's out here on, you can see the gravel road out there that I came in on. It's about, I would say, about 2 miles out this gravel road. Just out here in the middle of nowhere. You come in from Dean State Forest and probably go about 2 or 2.5 miles out this gravel road. There's some more dipped areas. I mean, all the way almost out to the road. Let's go over here and look over the hill and see if there's any more graves. So far, the only marked grave is the one of Catherine Kelly. And she died in 1850. Almost 200 years ago. So that's how old this cemetery is. And it's just out here. As you can see, just in the middle of nowhere. I'd say everybody who probably knew who was buried here is all already gone themselves, so there wouldn't be anybody alive that would know who was buried here. There's some I was just looking down through there. I thought I saw some stones that maybe you have a lot of fallen trees. It's just a wooded area. And I would say there might be more graves out through that way. I don't see a path going down through there anywhere. It's just all grown up. I just stepped in another dip. Definitely have to be careful with the leaves covering the ground because you can't see. I mean, there's actually like an indentation there, if you can see it, where I just stepped in it. Just have to be careful where you're walking, because with the foliage and the leaves on the ground, you can't tell where the graves dip down. And here's another one here. Somebody has put flags on them once upon a time. The flags are really old, but at one time or another, somebody has came out here and put a flag on it for Memorial Day. I'd like to know some history behind this cemetery. I mean, I'm going to search and see if I can find anything. Include it with this video. There's another one right there. They're all unmarked. this would be a headstone and a footstone. And you can tell, if I can hold this up, you can tell that they're not very far apart, which makes me think this is a child's grave. And there's a couple of them like that out here. And there's another dip, and just no headstone, but there's a place I stepped right there. So there's graves all over this cemetery. It's no telling who's buried here. And it actually goes quite a ways back through here. You can see some of the dip areas. And then like over next to this tree, is a headstone. Just leaning up against the tree. These trees, some of them, like this one right here, these trees are huge. They've been here for a while. For years and years. In this cemetery. This is probably where it's located at, out here in the middle of nowhere. In the woods. I would say this is a family cemetery. And the only grave marked in it is Catherine Kelly's, so I'm wondering if maybe if there's anything known about this cemetery, then it would be this, probably called the Kelly Cemetery. Look at this part of this tree. That's really weird. Some kind of growth on the tree, or I have no idea. Yeah, that's very unusual. It's a big old tree. Makes you wonder. I mean, there's a lot of graves here that are unmarked. Here's a little one, the same as the other one with the headstone and the footstone. I'd say this was kids, and back in the 1800s, there's a buried headstone, buried under the leaves, and down in the ground. I mean, you can just like barely see it there, just the top of it. Let's turn this one over. No, there's nothing on either side. Just a rock. Back in the late 1800s, typhoid fever was the epidemic that killed a lot of people. And then, here's another one. I mean, completely buried. It is completely buried in the ground, and all you can see is just the top of it. Just a rock. Yeah, typhoid fever killed a lot of people in the late 1800s, but from about 1917 to 1919, the Spanish flu came in. Mostly in the year 1918 is when a lot of people died from the Spanish flu. So it kind of looks like the cemetery is just in this flat spot. And it goes quite a ways back. Sometimes you'll find that there were churches built in these areas. Here's two more, looks like two more headstones maybe. And I'm all the way back here next to the wood line. So this is a pretty big cemetery. Sometimes you'll find there were churches back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And it was actually a church cemetery. And maybe the church caught on fire, or it just, over the years, dilapidated and was tore down. I mean, you never know. But my guess is a tree that's Looks pretty messed up to me. But my guess is that this cemetery is a family cemetery of some sort. And I'm just going to label it the Kelly Cemetery. There's 3 graves right there. I don't see any out that way. Doesn't mean that there aren't. This means I don't see any stones. A soft spot, real soft spot back there. Yeah, most of the graves are right here in this area, all the way to that tree line over on the other side. Out here in Decatur, Lawrence County, Ohio, in the middle of the woods, on a gravel road, a lost and abandoned cemetery. Like and subscribe. Use your finger and hit the thumbs up button on this video and like it, so that I can bring you more videos. Thanks for watching.